Everybody's always trying to convince everybody else that their side is winning. And the reason is people tend to want to be on the winning side. You don't want to choose the loser. When it comes to voting, when polls show that a certain candidate is likely going to win, they actually get more votes. And it's kind of dumb and sad that people would vote for someone not based on whether or not they're offering up real solutions or are a good person or would be a good leader, but because they just want to feel like winners. Now, here's where it gets funny. Everybody's always trying to convince everybody else. We know that. And when it comes to impeachment and when it comes to the 2020 election, the left will be adamant that Bernie Sanders is going to win the election. I doubt a 78-year-old socialist who just had a heart attack is going to beat Donald Trump. I'm not trying to be mean, but let's be real here. Then they say, well, maybe it'll be Joe Biden. I'm not sure a 77-year-old guy who can't talk straight and doesn't know where he is going to beat Donald Trump either. Now, come on, I get it. Donald Trump's old too. But I'll tell you what, ignore everyone. Because, ignore everybody when they're talking about their political faction. Ignore the polls for the most part. I'll tell you who tends to be right. The money changers, betting odds, Vegas. Now here's the best part. Washington Examiner says odds of Trump finishing term have grown during impeachment, according to a betting website. Everybody wants to convince you they're going to win because they're hoping you want to be on the winning team. Well, I got bad news for the left, for the Democrats. Throughout the entire impeachment process, Donald Trump's betting odds of finishing out his first term have steadily increased. Okay, there have been a few moments where it's gone down a bit, okay? But this means that everything they've done in impeachment has either had zero impact or actually helped the president. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say it likely helped the president. I mean, look, he's been fundraising off this. His approval ratings are up. You'd have to be insane. You know, I feel like Democrats are stuck in a trap, though. Could you imagine? Like, they invested so much into this. What do they do now? Do they stop the impeachment process and says, okay, we're done? No. They move forward and they got to see it through, and it's hurting them nonstop. I can only tell you this for the Trump supporters and conservatives. There must be a bit of schadenfreude knowing that the Democrats walked themselves into an unwinnable situation that's benefited the president, and they have to see it through every day suffering, knowing that they're losing this fight and helping the president. Unless, of course, dare I say, the conspiracy theory is the Democrats are secret Trump supporters. I'm kidding, but you get the point. You would think at any point they could say, you know what? We're going to censure the president. We don't got to vote for impeachment. No, they went for it. They committed. Well, here you are. Let's read the story. They say a political betting site that allows people to buy and sell shares that reflect the odds of an event occurring shows President Trump's chances of completing his first term in office have grown steadily since impeachment began. Listen, you would think just on the surface, if an impeachment was beginning, the odds he would finish his term would go down because there is a chance impeachment follows through with removal. But people have such little confidence in the Democrats that his odds have increased. How does that make sense? Like, even the simple fact that impeachment exists is a potential that Trump could be removed from office. Yet his odds are going up. Impeachment is helping the guy. You got to be insane, man. They say this. The trading on the statement that Trump will stay in office until he completes his current term opened at 70 cents on October 31st and closed at 84 cents Wednesday on PredictIt, a political betting website that bills itself as a stock market for politics with more than 1 million shares trading. A share price of 0 would reflect that there is no chance of an event happening. A $1 price would show the event as certain to occur, in the view of bettors. Buyers of shares, as in the stock market, make or lose money when they sell based on where the share price has gone since they bought it. That means if initially you bet that Donald Trump would finish his first term, you have just made a fairly decent return of around 20%. Congratulations. Trump would have to be convicted in his impeachment trial, die, or quit for those betting against him to win. Who would bet against Trump? Like, I say it a million times, but even if you hate the man, you look at Michael Moore, you look at these people who just absolutely detest the president, even they're saying Trump's going to win. Michael Moore said Trump was going to win in 2016, and he was right. Like, even the people who hate him aren't stupid enough to bet against him. But maybe that's it. Maybe that's why the odds have gone up. It's not about whether impeachment really does help or hurt the president. It's that people think Trump can't lose. So you'd be stupid to bet against him. And thus, no matter what happens, the odds of him completing his first term are going up. It has nothing to do with whether or not the Democrats have a case or don't. It's that people have confidence in Donald Trump or no confidence in the Democrats. But I think it has more to do with whether you like the guy or not. People are confident Trump is going to win. Whatever you know what, man? He made the joke. He said, you're going to get tired of winning. I'm sorry, man. Trump hasn't won every single fight, but he is winning a lot. You know, I did a segment a few weeks ago. Trump is winning on every front. Yeah, man. The economy, foreign policy, the border, immigration. I don't know what Democrats have actually gained. They say, well, we fixed the USMCA. Congratulations. You helped improve Donald Trump's plans. I don't know why they're trying to impeach when this just helps Trump, too. They say the House made its impeachment case in November and December across weeks of hearings and depositions by current and former White House officials, with some testifying publicly and others behind closed doors. On October 31st, nearly 1 month after House Speaker Pelosi began impeachment proceedings against Trump, the price fell to the lowest point in 90 days, 69 cents. Ooh, went down 1 penny. But since then has moved steadily upward, reaching a high of 90 cents on January 2nd and again on January 4th. It was at 89 cents last Friday before dropping 2 points to close at 87 cents on Saturday. As the president's impeachment team began making its case in the Senate at 5 p.m., Wednesday's shares were at 84 cents. Bloomberg Business Week predicted the go-to place to gamble on U.S. politics. More than 50 million shares have traded in the market betting who will win in the November general election, with Trump at 5 p.m. Wednesday trading at 47 cents to Senator Bernie Sanders 27 cents. I'll tell you something. The reason why I find this important, let's just jump over here. The reason why I find the betting odds to be very, very important is that, like I said in the beginning, you know, the Democrats are going to be like, Trump is losing, trying to convince you that you better support Bernie. Look, he's only got a 47% chance of winning in November. When it comes to betting odds, nobody is hiding behind any masks. They don't care what you think. They literally just want to win money. So they're not going to place bets they think are bad. Now, in the political world, they'll lie to you. They'll tell you only a progressive like Bernie Sanders could defeat Donald Trump. Joe Biden's camp will say only a moderate like Joe Biden could defeat Donald Trump. Well, neither will. I mean, maybe. It's not impossible. Like, Donald Trump's odds were really low and he ended up winning. So don't be surprised. You know, Trump could lose. He really could. The odds are in his favor. But again, I'll stress the odds were really in Hillary's favor. So keep that in mind. But when it comes to making a bet, nobody's pretending. They're literally saying, here's what I think is going to happen. And the aggregate then shows you. Now, I want to be fair. We can see here over the past 90 days, the odds that Trump stays in office have been increasing. And there was a dip. This is a 14th of January. It took a hit. It went down a bit. And then it's recovered, gone down a bit again, and slowly started recovering. It could change. But for the time being, when you compare today to November 1st, the past 90 days, Donald Trump's odds have increased. Now, there are other odds that I think are also important. Because as to whether or not Trump finishes first term, most of us think, of course he will. I mean, it's not just about impeachment. It's about just historical odds. Most finish at least one term, right? But what about Trump winning in November? And who could he beat? Well, now let's do a little game of let's point the finger at the Democrats. Bernie Sanders is the favorite to win the Democratic nomination. Warning to the never-Trumpers and Democratic establishment, the DNC. My favorite thing here, yesterday I did a segment at 4 p.m. Never Trumpers are panicking because they realize that a 78-year-old socialist president might actually be worse than a bombastic, boorish conservative president. A lot of these never Trumpers talk about how their issue with Trump is that he makes conservatism look bad. Oh, is that it? Well, then you can let the socialist win. I'll tell you what, those never Trumpers are going to come running back to Donald Trump if Bernie Sanders wins the nomination, helping Donald Trump win. But here's the next bit of bad news for Democrats. Joe Biden is actually in second, according to the betting market, to win the nomination. 34 cents. So that's essentially a percentage chance of likelihood based on betting. So 41% of people think it's going to be Sanders, 34% think it'll be Biden. Well, Bernie Sanders, I'll say it again, is a 78-year-old socialist who just had a heart attack. I'm just being real with you guys. I know you want me to put the Democratic qualifier in front of socialist. That won't matter to voters. And the circumstances of his heart attack won't matter either. I feel for the guy. I mean no ill will to him. I disagree with him, but we Americans can disagree and still respect one another. So Bernie Sanders has led a long, storied career. I disagree with him on a lot of policy issues. I question his integrity. But I don't mean to drag him over his, being old and having a heart attack. But that's just a reality in terms of leadership. And it's a reality in terms of how people are going to vote. The next person down is Joe Biden. Well, Joe Biden's 77, okay? He doesn't really know where he is. He stumbles and mutters, and he trails off, and he's got a touchy problem. I really don't see him winning either. So whatever, Joe Biden is a crazy old guy as well, and fine. Maybe there should be a cutoff, I guess, for a certain age. I don't know, maybe not, whatever, because technology will improve and people will do better and be healthier. Next up, we have Michael Bloomberg. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm stopping right there. Donald Trump's going to win. But I'm going to give you one more thing, because while I can drag Bernie Sanders, I need to point out something else. This story is actually kind of creepy. It is funny. You know, I don't mean to make light of a lot of these things, but I got to admit, I laughed a lot when I saw this article. Tucker Carlson claims Joe Biden is first presidential candidate to predict his own death and calls it disturbing. I'm sorry, man. I'm holding back laughter, but you got to admit that's kind of funny. Okay, I can't hold it back too much. Tucker Carlson would be correct. Joe Biden, I mentioned this the other day, was at an event and he said he needed a vice president who was capable because, let's face it, I'm an old man, he says. And then everyone, like, you know, I don't know how they responded, whatever, but he's like, no, you know, look, I exercise and I keep healthy. It's like, dude, did you literally just say I could die in my first term to people you're supposed to convince to vote for you? You want to know why Donald Trump's odds keep improving? It's because the second guy in second place not only is saying I might die, but he literally the other day told a voter not to vote for him. Oh, geez. The Democrats, man. What? Excuse me. What is this? Are you kidding me? If the best you can muster is a guy who just a 78-year-old man who had a heart attack and another guy who's literally telling people don't vote for me. You expect me to place a bet against Donald Trump if that's what we're looking at? You know what, man? Let me say something to these progressives and these Democrats. If you really want to mount a campaign to win, it's not going to be in 2020. Y'all better start planning for 2024, and you need to start figuring out who that candidate is going to be. Now, it may be that Pete Buttigieg's meteoric rise leads him to 2024. Maybe the real intention with the Buttigieg campaign is that they need to get him that recognition, get him in a better position. So come 2024, he actually will stand a chance. Because let's face it, Pete Buttigieg, he's the moderate. He's a lot younger. I got bad news, though. I think we're looking at a Republican decade. I really do. I did talk about this on a main segment before. But when we're talking about betting odds, and you take a look at who the Democratic contenders are, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, what comes next? What comes 2024? 4 years from now, Bernie and Joe, they're going to be in their 80s. It's never going to happen, man. 80-year-old candidates, it's not going to happen. Warren's already 70. Now, Andrew Yang's a maybe, but, you know, Yang's not, I don't know. He's done really, really well. Maybe in the next 4 years, he will see a big surge. And I'd like that. I really do like Andrew Yang. I'm looking at it right now. It feels like the Democrats have hit a dead end. And I feel this way, right? Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Warren, even Clinton, they're all really old. And then they have these minor players, some of whom I like, but for the most part just aren't breaking out and becoming prominent. So it's hard to predict what will happen. But with the civil war, the internal civil war within Democrats, you've got the Bernie Biden conflict right now, where the moderates won't vote progressive and the progressives won't vote moderate. Well, what's going to happen? There's which progressive? There's no young progressive. They don't exist. I guess Yang is the closest you get. So you've got old progressives and old moderates. I think just in terms of where the party is right now with the age, I think Pete Buttigieg is the best they have in the next 4 years. But I really don't see him going up against, I don't know, who, Trump Jr. or something. So it's hard to say. But when you look at the Republican Party, there are a lot of star players to the Republicans, a lot of people who are prominent, who are rising, who are gaining followers. However, though we don't see someone running today, it could very well be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And she might be, that might make the most sense. You look at who's running for the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination, and you see no real stars after Bernie or Biden. But Bernie really is bringing out AOC and giving her that, using that star power and propping her up. I think it's entirely possible AOC will just be old enough. I believe she's the youngest person ever elected to Congress, maybe someone else, later on, but one of at least. She would be the youngest person, I think, elected to the presidency if she won. She won't, though. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few things. I think the 2024 Republican primary is going to be, it's going to be epic. And I don't mean epic as in like, I'm saying I'm going to like who's there. What I'm saying is you are going to have a ton of stars. There are personalities rising up right now that the Democrats just don't have. You had a lot of B players, okay, in 2016. And Donald Trump was the clear celebrity. But now with the culture war, on the left and the right, there are some star players. The left doesn't have as many, but they do have AOC. So I think she's a shoo-in to run in the primary. We'll see what happens. A lot of people think she'll go for the Senate first. That would make more sense. But who knows? I think she would absolutely lose. She would be absolutely they'd wipe the floor with her in a presidential race. So I don't know who's there. That says to me, I think we're looking at a Republican decade. I think the fracturing of the Democrats, the split between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, they're not the same party. Even AOC says they're not the same party. Get this. Ocasio-Cortez, campaigning with Bernie Sanders, says she shouldn't be in the same party with Joe Biden. But that's the split. Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders. The party is split. There's 3 parties today. So 2024 will still be a civil war for the Democrats. AOC, whoever, I don't know. They're not going to make it. The primary for Republicans, though, I think you'll end up seeing who are some names potentially. People have floated Matt Gaetz, maybe. I think Trump Jr. I think you'll see, or maybe even Ivanka Trump. What would happen? Like, how crazy would it be if the first female president was Ivanka? But I think it would more likely be Trump Jr. And I really do think, Ivanka or Trump really could win. People are so in love with Donald Trump. Let me show you. I'm not even exaggerating. Trump campaign New Jersey rally attendance was 26.3% Democrats, 10.4% people who didn't vote in 2016. That to me is mind blowing. There was 175,000 people, according to the Trump campaign, who wanted tickets for their event in Wildwood. Only 7,000 people could actually get in. I couldn't even get in. I was trying to get in as press. I know some high-profile Trump supporters couldn't get in either. They really did want to prioritize it for locals and local press. I can respect that. 26.3% of the people there were Democrats. Yep. New Jersey's a blue state. And so people there were Democrats, but they want Donald Trump. So what happens with the economy booming, with people with unemployment at record lows? That's what people care about. Those are the kitchen table issues. Now, Trump's not perfect. Healthcare is a big issue. We'll see how that plays. But come 2024, if you get Donald Trump again, and I mean Jr., or you get Ivanka, I think people will absolutely say yes. I'm not a big fan of dynasties. Absolutely not. But it really has to do with, are we going to see a populist leader to want to take up the mantle of what Trump has accomplished for his base and bring out the supporters? Or will we see, a Trump, another Trump actually run? I'll tell you what, I'll be fair. I'll ask you this question. Can you think of any Democrat who has any enthusiasm behind them that could actually run in 2024? I kind of feel like, AOC, I guess, with the star power, but there's nobody else. I mean, look at the leadership in the House and the Senate. All old people. Schumer, Pelosi, Nadler. I mean, I guess people think maybe Schiff is a rising star, but Schiff's too weird. And I'm not, this has nothing to do with, politics. Schiff doesn't have the X factor to actually run in any of those capacities. It would just be he gets swept up easily. But you look at, I don't know, I think Don Jr., I really, really do, because he's tall, he's charismatic, he could be aggressive. And that's what you need to be a president. He takes after his dad. So I don't know what to expect for 2024. I don't know. But let me just wrap things up. Otherwise, I'll just keep prattling on. I think it's hilarious that people would actually try and bet against Donald Trump at this point. You know what? I guess you're hoping that a bet against him pays out really, really well in Vegas because the odds are so bad. Turn $1 into $100. Sure, that bet makes sense. I still wouldn't do it. If you told me I could give you $1 and if Trump lost, I'd make 100, I'd say no way. I'm keeping my dollar. I would bet the $1 hoping to get a quarterback, and make, almost no money on that he would win. I really would. It's not worth it. Some people might say, but it's $1. So what? You might get $100. No, you're not. You're going to lose $1. You're not going to win that money. So I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel, and I will see you all there.